Welcome to the English News Bulletin from Radio Tamas today, Tuesday, 26th of November 2024. But first, here are headlines. Security agency interrogates doctors after protest in Aweil. Presidential advisor Garang deposed by party. Quelea birds in Upper Nile ceased spray. And now, the news in detail. The Internal Security Bureau of the National Security Service briefly interrogated 4 medical specialists on Friday following a peaceful protest at Aweil Civil Hospital in northern Barakasan State. The specialists Dr. Pot Pio, a court surgeon, and Dr. James Deng Lual, gynecologist, and Dr. Martin, dentist, and Dr. Asisa Bika were central figures in the protest, demanding unpaid incentives arrears for the months of August, September, October, and November. Speaking to Tamas on Monday, Dr. Pioth explained that there had been someone to provide information about the protest. He confirmed they resumed their duties after receiving assurance from the security officials that their demands would be addressed. The medical doctor added that they provided documentation related to their claims and were informed that authorities would follow up on the issue. You are listening to the English News on Radio Tamazu. Several youth on Monday morning protested in United States Jack Payam of Koch County against the appointment of the Katkwad Kundar as vice president of the Sud Petroleum Operating Company in the Tarjas oil field. Dar was appointed last week by the National Minister of Petroleum. Jack Payam, youth chairperson, which confirmed the protest to Radio Tamazik, saying the youth were insisting that the position should be held by someone from Koch, Quid, Mayandit, Fajijar, or Lair counties, which are under Sud Petroleum Operating Company. One of the protesters, Stephen Matai, said they were demanding the removal of the Katkwad because he was not from the 4 counties under Sud Petroleum Operating Company. The Minister of Petroleum in Juba could not immediately be reached for comment. South Sudan's Minister of Interior, Angelina, has called for urgent action to combat gender-based violence as the country launched its annual 16 Days of Activism campaign. Speaking at the event in Juba on Monday, themed United to End Violence Against Women and Girls in South Sudan, Ten emphasized the need for transform existing laws into effective actions. While acknowledging progress such as heightened awareness and improved law enforcement training, Ten pointed out that the real challenge lies in the implementation of the laws. She highlighted significant barriers such as limited resources and fragmented justice system. Ten called for a comprehensive approach to address gender-based violence, one that involves not only law enforcement but also prosecutors, judicial institutions, and community leaders. You are listening to English News on Radio Tamazuch. South Sudan's presidential advisor Dr. Garang Lual has been ousted as head of his party and its armed forces, saying rival leader who accused the veteran politicians of abandoning the party's principle. Garang, the chairman of the South Sudan Patriotic Movement, a member of the South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA, participating in the transitional government, was deposed following a gathering of senior South Sudan Patriotic Movement leaders in Juba on Saturday, a group of party leaders said in a statement sent to Tamazuch. Hossein Abdulbeki, called the vice president for the service cluster, was declared interim leader of the movement. For his part, presidential advisor Garang issued a separate statement Saturday rejecting the move to kick him out of the party, sign of the political tensions that could put pressure on South Sudan Opposition Alliance SOA. The UN Commission on Human Rights in South Sudan has called on the African Union and the international community to intensify their support for the peace process and holistic transitional justice to ensure sustainable peace. The UN agency in press release welcomed the recently enacted laws establishing the Commission for Truth, Reconciliation and Healing and Compensation and Reparations Authority and urged the African Union to provide the support to operationalize the laws. It also urged the African Union to renew its efforts to revive establishing the hybrid court for South Sudan. The 3 transitional justice mechanisms, together with critical state-building measures provided for under 2018 Trivialized Agreement on the resolution of the conflict in South Sudan, forms a cornerstone of the country's path toward healing, accountability, and lasting peace. A prominent farmer in Upper Nile State, Garang County, has expressed dissatisfactions with the inability of the Plant Protection Administration to combat agricultural pests. Kirngor Nyok told Ratamasgi that the effort to combat the pests had failed despite FAO bringing in a special plane. Nyok pointed out that birds destroying vast areas of crops after pesticides were brought in. He said the matter was due to lack of coordination between the federal and the state minister and farmers union. The farmer held the Federal Ministry of Agriculture responsible for the damage of the crops due to the delay in controlling operations that were reportedly earlier. The minister revealed that the control operation had stopped until new spray is brought in. You are listening to English News on Radio Tamazo. The Northern Bargazal State Transitional Legislative Assembly resumed business on Wednesday after almost 8 months, marking the longest vacation since the parliament was reconstituted in 2021. The parliament held activities for a 3-month holiday and was planned to resume in July, but the plan was disrupted when President Salva Kiir replaced Governor Tenga Kimwar with Simon Oba Mawood in late June. Mid this month, several state lawmakers and activists who talked to this publication called for immediate parliament resumption to tackle corruption at the State Ministry of Finance and Planning and address health and flood problems across the northern Barkazal state. Yei River Chambers of Commerce Chairperson Justin Luate has said poor roads, illegal roadblocks, and insecurity were a threat to business prosperity in the county. Luate told Ratamashi on Saturday that all the roads to Yei River County have been severely damaged by heavy downpour and had many illegal roadblocks. He said the poor connectivity to the greater Yei River County has negatively affected businesses by contributing to the sharp rise in the prices of basic commodities. The roads linking to Yei to Uganda, Juba, Lasso, and DRC Congo are all in bad state, and vehicles often get stuck with goods. The road also have several illegal checkpoints where extorting money from the traders and other road users is a norm, he said. Persistent conflict, lack of accountability, and inadequate support for survivors have worsened the abuse of the rights of women and girls in South Sudan, a right agency has said. The South Sudan Human Rights Defender Network expressed the sentiment in a press release as it joined the global community in commemorating the International Day of the Elimination of the Violence Against Women on Sunday. South Sudan Human Rights Defenders reaffirmed standing in solidarity with the South Sudan women and girls who continue to endure severe violence and rights violations. It called for the urgent government actions, stronger laws, and better resources, including safe shelters, psychological support, and health care. And finally, the Deputy Governor of Western Equatorial State, Daniel Badugo Rambisa, has condemned the illegal sale of public land, warning of its long-term effects on development. In an interview with Radio Tamasoj, Badugo criticized the sale and the demarcation of the land meant for schools, markets, and recreational facilities, calling it as a sign of poor urban planning. The Deputy Governor recalled holding similar practices during his tenure as a governor of the defunct Woodway State and emphasized the need for proper urban planning. He called for a city plan with well-structured roads and infrastructures to push development. We have come to the end of English News Bulletin from Radio Tamasoj today. Join us again on Friday this week, same time, same place for more news. Have a good evening.